The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you stick with us. We'll have you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey.
Next, he's our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Coming soon, Oz flavored bathtub wine.
Oh, jeez.
More potent than I thought.
Oz.
This is gonna be fun.
Oh,
let's go. Let's do this.
Oh my God.
I'm here. I'm horny. I'm here. Ready. I got one there.
He's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses, the Magnum.
What's up? Yeah, we're here. Happy Pride Month.
Indeed. And as for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking to you all about the release of the latest comic book movie, friggin' Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And we're going to be talking to you all about one of the latest comics to come out from in the Spider-Man universe, Amazing Spider-Man number 26. So we got all that, plus whatever else it is that you all want to talk about, and we'll tell you how it is. You can let us know what that is in just a moment. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this whole show would not have existed. So thank you, Scott Rubin. And with that said, we should go to the intern and let the intern tell you all how to get down with Fantastic Four.
Huh?
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern. Appreciate it. All right. So, gents, how's everybody doing? All four of us are here. I'm so excited about that. I feel like it's been like a month or so since that's happened last.
Yeah, not only that, and we took last week off too. So
right.
Yeah, you guys did.
did you not take last week off, Oz? Did you do the show without us?
He was sitting right there.
Like, I know they're late, but it's been an hour. I should text you guys.
I didn't know that you were it's crazy because
I was at work, but I went back to the desk. I'm like, oh, show's starting, and then I just got out and kept looking. It's like, man, it's not starting.
That's wild. That's wild. Oz was all alone on the feed, and that's all.
I finally did stuff for me that isn't show related.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you do? What?
I took your advice and
what'd you do?
I finished Chainsaw Man, the show.
Oh, nice.
And then I got mad that I finished, so I bought 11 volumes.
Of course. Right.
So I read those.
Did you read 11 volumes of?
Nah, I read 2 already, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say. I know you can read quick though.
Yeah, and then the manga is pretty quick, but especially because I've seen some of that stuff already on the show. But they do add extra stuff in between, like scenes that aren't
Right.
What do you mean? Of course. How am I supposed to know this?
You've never read a manga and then watched an anime?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
it's just like comics or books.
I don't read those either.
No matter how faithful the adaptation is, there's always going to be something that's left out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
But some of the stuff they leave out is like that changes the way I look at this person.
mm-hmm.
And then what else did I do? I read a bunch of comics that are like, like just kind of horror exploitation comics.
Yeah,
Those are pretty good.
that's good. Like anything that stood out for you that
It's a company called Diabolic,
mm-hmm.
and they do they'll do a book called El Gringo Loco. That's like this like kind of Jonah Hexy kind of undying cowboy.
You said Gringo Loco?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And he's a dude that they kill. They keep killing, and he just doesn't die, and he just kills a bunch of fucking bad cowboys, and helps out the hookers and the kids, and avenges them.
I mean, as we all do from time to time, right?
Yeah.
About the hookers and the kids.
Yeah. And then so I had bought that at WonderCon,
mm-hmm.
but there's also a book because I bought the double feature because they're made like Grindhouse movies.
Nice.
So the black one had a story about a paranormal detective named Professor Dario Bava.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a character that came out in this heavy metal music video for a band that I liked for a song called Sorrow. And he's in there, and it's like I realized the guy that created the comic directed that music video. And
wow.
that character. And then but I got like his second adventure. So I don't know none of the people that he's like referencing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still read it as a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went to Monster Palooza on Sunday, and then they were there, so I bought a bunch of that stuff too. But now that we're doing the show again, I don't have time to do stuff for myself.
The Monster Palooza after how they treated Mayor Young.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wait,
what they do to you there?
They fired him.
Monster Palooza. Oh, that's a different monster.
Same beast.
Yeah.
But wait, so they had comics there?
Well, it's a horror convention, yeah, and I mean, comics can be horror too, Larry.
No, well, I understand. I know that I thought the horror was mostly like movie stuff.
It's movie and props. It's a lot of collectible and people that are trying to break into the industry of like prosthetics and stuff. So it felt very like trade showy, like industry, but also consumery. So not just it's for professionals and consumers. So they did have Asylum Press had a booth there for comics. This other like small mom and pop shop they're selling comics there along with like music videos and stuff like that, or music DVDs. And then they had a huge selection of Shintaro Kago books, which I wanted to get, but they're just expensive, and I didn't know which one to get, and they're all in Japanese, so it's not like I could read the story. Which I already just look at his art online anyway. And if you ever want to get freaked out, Larry, you should look at his art.
Oh, I don't want to get freaked out.
Yeah, you do.
No. So when you say music videos or music DVDs, it's like for songs that it's like independent music videos, like that's the only way you can see it, or
it's like like sometimes you like a band and they put out a DVD, or somebody will record a live show from like the 80s, and they have,
Got it. And you rather have like a physical copy of that than as opposed to like watching it online?
The only way you can actually get it, or online it could get taken down, or now with online you can finish it, but again, it's like It's like the old shrine, you know. We used to buy porn like that. Remember, Larry, from Umada, you know.
No, I did not buy porn at the Shrine Auditorium. Why you?
Me either.
Look, I like how you said it, like we did it together. Like I remember when we went to go buy the porn. It was
And then
me,
we swapped
Jay,
what
Oz.
we tried. We swapped what we were watching each week.
Right. Remember, we were all children. We were all underage buying that porn at the Shrine. It's like, wait, what? I was like,
I
no,
mean,
I don't.
at some point, we've all been broken up that swapping out porn with someone else is not a bad idea.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Pre-internet, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, look.
I forgot.
Man.
Mayor Young's a minister too, or something.
No minister. Just yeah, different. Look, I guess that's our cue to get to the topic, right? Look, we got a lot to talk about anyway, so let's go ahead and jump into our review of the Spider-Verse. Cue the music.
Comic book theater.
Thank you.
Comic book theater. Comic book theater.
Indeed. Thank you, The Claw. Comic book theater. Oh, I should go ahead and start by saying there are going to be spoilers. I know you can see at the bottom, but still, spoilers for Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to talk about the movie in depth. So if you haven't seen it yet, you may want to go watch it and then come on back and listen to what our thoughts were on it. You can also even comment if you're coming back after the fact and let us know in the comments what it is you think. If you're here live with us, feel free to let us know in the comments what you think of the movie as well, or what you think about what we're saying about it. Or if you just want to call in, you can do that too, right? Fantasticforum.live. Hit the call in button. You'll be the 5th member of Fantastic Forum. So, jump in at whenever you're ready, because, we know you all have opinions on this movie too. Let's get into it. The sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales is grown a little bit and has become a bit more seasoned of a Spider-Man, and he is doing his thing when he gets pulled into another Spider-Verse adventure, another adventure that has him crossing into different realities and dealing with different spider people.
I know they say he's grown, but isn't it like 1 year later from the first one?
Yeah.
I think it is like a year and a half or so. But
It's
at the same
least
time,
9 months.
huh?
It's at least 9 months
Why is it at least 9 months?
because of the contextual clues provided by other characters in the movie.
Oh yeah. The baby.
Mayday.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
Lawrence doesn't know anything about Mayday.
But the baby is much older than
The baby's
9
still a
months.
baby. Like it's
It's
still in
like-
diapers.
That
Well, it takes
baby's
9 months to make one.
that baby
That
looks
takes
like
2
that
minutes.
baby's like a year and some old. That baby.
Yeah, but
has-
they're not. If your baby's wearing diapers at a year old,
Yeah, you're not.
Wait, do babies get potty trained at a year?
if they're good, if they got spider stuff in them, yeah.
I don't know about that.
See,
Listen.
Lawrence, you don't know about Mayday Parker, and we don't have time to
No, I
explain
listen.
Mayday to you.
Listen,
but
listen.
I'm glad that you at least know
I
the
don't-
name now.
I don't
like when you
need
see
you
it,
to-
it'll recognize.
To be sir. Okay, listen. What I
Miles-
need is the recognition that Miles is definitely a different version of himself in this movie, because, and I think that if we all remember back to what it was like, because in Spider-Verse, in the first one, right? The dude is what? Maybe 13 or 14 years old.
He's about to start high school.
Okay. So yeah, so depending, he's probably like 13, years old or so, right?
Let's
And
call it 14. But he's transitioning from a kid to a young adolescent.
right. And like we know that there's a difference between when you're 14 and when you're like 15 or 16 years old. Like that, those are pivotal years. You know, it may not be a lot of time, but it's a significant difference.
Oz remembers like he used to just shoot clear, and then about 10th grade it started coming out white. His webbing, that is.
Is that what you young kids call it? Look, so but yeah.
Me. But no, Miles himself actually says, like, I've been Brooklyn's only Spider-Man for a year and a half now.
So there you go. So, and like I will say this movie opens in a pretty fantastic way. And I know that I will say this. I've been very disappointed in the comic book movies that I've been watching in the last year. like literally, I've been disappointed by comic book movie after comic book movie for pretty much since the last Spider-Man movie came out, right? Because Spider-Man No Way Home came out after Multiverse of Madness or before?
Before.
No, okay, so since Multiverse of Madness. Wait, okay, so since Multiverse of Madness then. So Multiverse of Madness.
Mainstream comic book movies.
What non-mainstream comic book movie did I not watch?
Knights of the Zodiac.
Okay, I mean, but Knights of the Zodiac is based on that anime, isn't it?
It's based on a manga.
Okay,
Most
I'll give you that.
Animes are based on a manga.
That's true. A lot of them are. Not all of them, though. But hey,
That's what I said.
I digress. So I didn't see Knights of the Zodiac, which actually just came out the week before Spider-Verse?
No, it's been out for like a month, and then it probably left theaters already.
It came out when?
Like Easter
months ago.
And yeah.
Okay, listen. If you want to pretend like
Don't act like it's a tiny little independent film. It's got Sean Bean in it.
If you want to act like
lives.
There's a big difference between 2 weeks ago and a month ago, then okay, fine, we can do that. It's 2 weeks difference.
It's almost
My bad.
2 months ago.
So it's not almost 2 months ago. I remember getting the text from Joe like, "Hey, do you want to go see it?" That was maybe a month ago.
Oh, you know what it is? It's I saw the poster at WonderCon, which was 2 months ago.
Okay, yeah. So either way, okay, fine, Jay. I missed that one. The fact is, all the movies that I've watched have been subpar since Multiverse of Madness, and I was just like, man, I knew that this movie would not be that, but man, that first opening sequence, I might say was actually better than Into the Spider-Verse, and Miles Morales wasn't even in it. Yeah. Which I was like blown away by. I was like, this is before we get the title screen, and I'm like, golly, I'm like, we're on this. It finished, and it felt like a whole movie, by itself. Or I was just like, damn.
It turns out Sony knows how to make comic book movies.
I don't know if I'm gonna go that far,
especially with people from the Spider Universe. That's their bread and butter right there. Like, if you want a good Spider-Man related film, you go to Sony. They'll put it out twice too if you ask them nice enough.
Right.
They do bring that up in the movie, which was hilarious.
And look, you mentioned it to me, Jay, before I actually saw it, and I did pick up on it but I do feel again where it's like you were right, Jay. Like they make a Morbius reference. And it's like one of those blink. I can't say blink because it's literally audio, but it's like such a throwaway kind of line. But it's one of those things where it's like you'll understand the reference if you're listening.
I think I was listening.
Basically, there's a line where
you said you weren't listening.
Yeah, I don't think I was listening.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to explain it, Jay? Or?
No, you go ahead.
So there's a point where Spider-Gwen and Miles, or Gwen and Miles, are swinging, and they're talking about Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, and she mentions how he's kind of like a bit of like a vampire, and Miles says a good guy vampire. He's like, I played to see that. And it's just funny because the line is like completely kind of throwaway, but at the same time, with Sony being Sony, it's like that reference is
My
pretty funny.
brain, like I remember hearing that, but I didn't think about Morbius at all. Like, I'm watching a good movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's not like he said it's Morbin time or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Wow. I'm so happy that didn't happen. But yeah, man. But I like I said, the beginning of this movie, and you get like a recap of the events from Spider-Gwen's perspective, and that whole sequence is just like, it's amazing. Like, it really is. Like, it almost felt like if they had made that to be like, oh, this is like to sell you on the idea that this would be a good movie, like like the freaking proof of concept. It's like, yeah, like, but it just felt very awesome and complete in its own right.
It felt like it was a half hour.
Right.
But in like good ways, just so much happened. Like,
not only does so much happen, but it takes you like on an emotional journey.
Yeah. You didn't read the initial run of her comic, right? Like those only like 6 issues, because that's much. They condensed those like 5 issues into those 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, like Edge of the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
The Spider-Gwen one, just where it's her story.
Oh, just Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
I did read Spider-Gwen as well.
Not Ghost Spider, because that came out after, right?
It was her first. It was the series that got canceled because of whatchamacallit, because of Secret Wars. So like it only got to 5. It never got to get concluded. And then eventually they concluded it like after Secret Wars, but they put a pause and like, where's my fucking number 6?
Yeah. But no, it was good stuff, and you're right. It was basically like a condensed version of like the beginning of her story. And so it was good stuff, man. Like, introduced you to some key characters, and like I said, like it literally, like, after all that goes down, then the movie starts, and you get Miles into the scene and whatnot, which is like it's pretty amazing. And I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, what did you all think of the beginning of the movie and how it started? What did you think, Oz?
Are we just talking about the beginning?
Sure. Unless you want to talk about something else.
Well, at some point, I guess since we're doing spoilers, I wanted to bring up the cameo that everybody's talking about. I mean, there's several decent cameos, but there's that one that, I don't know, we can talk about that later.
I mean, we can, if you want to talk about it now, we can. Go for it.
No, let's talk about it later, because that way we could talk about all the different ones.
Okay. Yeah, so no, I agree. The beginning was amazing. I didn't have to put up with Miles Morales whining about stuff. And then
Wait,
and the movie starts and he shows up, and I remember, oh yeah, it's a Miles Morales movie that I'm watching. I kept waiting for the real Peter Parker to show up. It eventually does, but not at the beginning. And yeah. I'm kidding. Like it was great. The whole beginning part was great. Yeah. Although that was the first time, like those first 15 minutes, where I was thinking, I think I want a Spider-Gwen movie. Mm-hmm. But also that finished and I felt like, wow, I got a Spider-Gwen movie. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I felt complete.
Yeah.
I think Mo is right. I could have got up and walked out of the theater at that point and been perfectly happy.
5 out of 5.
Right. No, but that's exactly the feeling that it left you with, which is crazy because I'm like, I haven't, like, again, for an entire year just about, I went to comic movies and didn't feel that way. And this joint did it in 15 minutes.
Well, and there's also the usually when something like this happens, the thing going in the back of my mind is, look, I'm here for a Spider-Man movie, a Miles Morales movie, or whatever. Why am I just watching Spider-Gwen? But it was so cool. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy. I got a tub of popcorn.
Exactly. It's like, whenever you all want to stop this, you're more than welcome. But if you want to keep going, it's okay. Like and that's like, I was just sitting here like, is this what we're going to be doing? Because I'm not mad at it, because I'm having a great time. But then it transitions, and it's like, okay, and it was pretty perfect to me. I was like I was genuinely blown away. Where, because I know I went with my buddy Raymond, and I just like turned to him like, that joint was amazing. Like like that could be the whole movie. What's Taking Tugboat talking about?
He says, "Hello, FF. A Spider-Gwen movie would be cool."
Yeah,
we got a great Spider-Gwen movie. I hope they make a sequel. I think they will. More on that later.
Indeed. How about you, Jay? What were your like initial thoughts?
Oh, initially I liked it. I did like the Spider-Gwen focus. I enjoyed her story. It's very tragic.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I thought I just really enjoyed it, and I thought visually it was stunning. And I don't think I had any problems hearing, but I know a lot of people were having issues hearing, but I didn't.
Hearing in your theater?
There were some theaters that had audio.
There was a news report saying a lot of people couldn't hear Gwen when she's monologuing over the drumming.
Oh.
But I don't think I had that issue.
I didn't have that issue either.
Yeah, me neither.
I actually loved it. I love, because like, man, this is some good ass drum beat, and she's like essentially singing the song over, and then and it climaxes with like what I climaxed, where it says like, she's like, she goes, I didn't join a band to express my emotions. I come to bang these drums like that. So the drums actually it adds that other layer to her telling the story, and it's something that in the comic book series you don't get because you can't hear it. The drums are there, the letters are there, the lettering is there for the thump and the drumming, and but here you hear it, So I don't know what's wrong with those people. But, yeah.
Well, apparently there was an audio mixing issue where some theaters, depending on what volume they set the movie at, it was an issue. One of the guys in charge made a statement and gave the recommended volumes to hear everything well.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. But Mo, man, I mean, we all know how big of a Spider-Man fan you are. Like, what struck you next with the movie once we get out of the intro?
Well, and I think I told you this off the air, Larry, but one of my biggest things that I was, or my trepidations of this movie was the fact that we're not getting like, I was afraid that he's not getting his adventures, like everything's Spider-Verse tied, and it's like, yeah, it's easy to make one good Spider-Verse movie, but I mean, you saw we had 3 Spider-Verse events and only one good one. It's the man that created the Spider-Verse,
right?
It's like, I'm like, how are these movies gonna do it? And I was, I was happy to be wrong, but it also gives it like Spot. Like, I think I've been the only person that I could think Spot had this potential, and and Spot is a tragic character. Like, even cartoons that feature, like he is like it's a tragedy, and this one took it to another level and made it an epic like he's the nemesis. Like it's his Green Goblin. It's his his responsibility, power responsibilities. And it to his tragedy. So it's gonna I really fucking I love this this movie, and it just kept kicking up the gear every like moment that it just kept it almost had beats of like, okay, you got your first 15 minutes with Spider-Gwen, and it's like you got your 20 minutes with Miles, and then it kicks into the full Spider-Verse thing. That's a whole movie in and of itself.
Right.
And then going into the Citadel of Spiders. And then figuring out like, yo, like you are the aberration in your universe, it's a whole other dynamic. And, right now, like Miles is in the 616 and he's kind of like that. They kind of touched on that in the end of Spider-Verse, but not like this, like it felt like almost like a cop out. The fact that he's from two universes, and but it's still good. It was a good theme in it. Good little twist, but it was way better here. And executive story consultant Dan Slott in this movie, so it's like, oh, he saved a good load for the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the executive consultants were like, it was like a couple of the writers of the film, producers, and then it was like Jason Latour, Robbie Rodriguez, Brian Michael, and Dan Slott. And I'm like, fuck, that's like your
dream team.
Yeah. So it I would felt like it took me on a big web slinging ride just in those first 30 minutes.
It is wild because the way you broke it down, talking about how you get start off with Spider-Gwen and then you go into Miles Morales. It was almost like the. Because it's not quite an act structure, but it's almost like they broke it into issues.
It's a 6-issue trade paperback.
Yeah. Oz, how are you feeling about it once you're transitioning into Miles and him doing his thing or whatnot? Like, did you feel like he was a worthy Spider-Man after the fact?
I mean, he's fine. If he's the only one. I don't like that they forgot all about Aunt May. Well, I think she was from the same universe, right? Because that was their Peter Parker's.
Yeah.
Aunt May, who had all the costumes. Like, that's a resource to use. If you're the only Spider-Man, but you have this, I guess, tech-savvy Aunt May that can help you out with the costumes and the gadgets. I don't they just forgot about her.
No, she moved.
Yeah, but the bunker's still there, right?
I would assume. But
the bunker with all the costumes and the tech. Like at some point, I was expecting him to go down there as kind of like his Batcave.
I'm sick of fucking Spider-Man with tech. I had a trilogy of movies of Spider-Man with tech. Let this dude be a real Spider-Man.
I just wanted someplace for him to like at least fix what he's got, like his web shooters. He's got to fix them at some point, right? Or he's got to develop the web fluid, like some kind of lab. Give him a lab somewhere. He's all doing it out of this dorm room, and like his roommate knows everything about him. It's a little weird.
That's how Peter started too. Not that strange.
It's interesting because it felt like his spider cave is actually like the subway tunnel, like where he would go and hang out with his uncle.
Yeah.
Which and we didn't see much of that place either, mind you. But I think they flashed it like once or twice where he was like hanging out down there. And that seems like his like when he needs a moment, that's where he goes, as opposed to But who knows? Yeah, I mean, maybe Aunt May took the bunker with her.
The underground bunker.
The house got destroyed too, right?
Yeah. So, but I feel you. I hear what you're saying. I'm not mad at it.
I just
it's like
even if he doesn't use it, I want I want to find out what happened.
What happened to it?
Yeah. If he's not going to use it, that's fine. But let me know something happened to it.
I was like, it's the story behind things. I forgot.
Somebody had that Ant-Man could have told him with great power and all that nonsense, you know. And then he could have at some point been like, you know what, leave my parents alone because I already got that speech. I'm good.
What's Taking Tugboat talking about, Jay?
Taking Tugboat. I haven't seen the movie. Wanted to ask if they gave Miguel a good reason for going to Miles as hard as he is, and they did. They gave him a great reason for going after Miles.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. They even gave him a reason. They gave him a history. Like they did a really good job of making him like credible.
Mm-hmm. Listen,
complexities,
right? And you know, it's an interesting thing that this movie does because I feel like even the characters that aren't on the screen that much feel layered. You know what I'm saying? Like you understand why people act the way that they act, even though you don't get like necessarily spend a whole bunch of time with them. And then on top of that, it's like, you know, because understanding someone's motivations is one thing, but being able to like actually, you know, empathize with their motivations is something completely different. Like, I feel like all the characters, like people are making different choices in this movie. And, you know, all like you definitely have a person that is like the bad guy, right? You have the Spot, but then you have other people whose interests aren't always aligned. And when you're talking about these different like Spider characters, it's not as simple. It's not as black and white. You know what I'm saying? Like you can technically find a character to kind of resonate with, I think. And it may like, I feel like 4 of us could go watch that movie and each one of us feel like a different person is the one that's doing the right thing. You know? And that's a pretty amazing thing to do because a lot of movies, especially these days, I'm not even talking about superhero movies, I'm talking about movies across the board,
right,
have a tough time doing that. You know, making characters like 3-dimensional. You know, but speaking of 3-dimensional, can we talk about these art styles on these different spiders? Oh my god. What? What? Mo, what did oh no, actually no, let me go to Jay first. Because I feel like I've been ignoring you, Jay. I apologize. I'm out here having you read comments and not talking to you. Jay, what did you think of these different art styles for the different Spider-Verses and, you know, the different Spider-Men or Spider people, and which one was your personal favorite?
I don't think I have a personal favorite. I mean, it's all amazing. Like the Spider-Man, the world, just everything was amazing to look at. I enjoyed looking at every single thing. And it was awesome because I saw it in IMAX, so everything was just huge and amazing.
Dude, when I see it a second time, I might need to do that. Yeah. What about you, Oz? Did you have like a particular Spider-Person's art style that you were like, man?
Not really. Like I noticed that everybody had their own art style.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Spider-Punk was interesting.
Yeah.
It had like there's moments where I was like, that's pretty cool. And then a couple moments where I was like, that's a little annoying. But it was just because it was a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of flashing lights.
Yeah.
And like Yeah. So I like it. I like the style and I like the way it looked. There's just moments where it was a lot. And if you're light sensitive or something like that,
Yeah.
then it can really like
Mess with you.
it'll get you. Yeah, it'll mess with you.
I know the theater I went to literally had like a warning at the ticket booth. That was like,
yeah, we didn't have a warning where I went.
Oh, where yeah, you know, like literally a photosensitivity, light sensitivity warning where they were just like, you know, if you react, you know, because you know, like there are people with epilepsy that kind of thing can help, you know, cause seizures and things like that. And then there's also other people that, you know, just like you said, have different other kind of light sensitivities or whatnot. So, you know, but I mean, I will agree with you that, you know, Spider-Punk, it was a lot, but it was amazing. And more importantly, in character, you know, which is like, you know, like the dude is a friggin' nonconformist anarchist, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so his art style constantly shifts and is
It's not only that,
chaos.
it's like the liner notes of like your DIY punk album, like
Mhm.
you know, like that's what the booklets look like. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Mo? Did you have a personal favorite?
I mean, I love the Miguel O'Hara, like because I felt like he wasn't like he's not 2099. He's based on a 2099 type world Spider-Man, but his motivations, everything, his personality is like a lot different because it's like he's dealing with all this, you know. So it's like a variant of that, and it's like it's almost like, oh, we'll just use him for a good design, but it's not like you got a 2099 kind of movie for him, you know, here.
Right.
So it was a, you know, it's an interesting one to use, but they just made him look cool. Like he almost looked cooler without the mask on, and just
yeah.
it looked better like that. And so I love that. The style is big, and then you know I like the other ones I saw. I mean, Ben Reilly. I know you hated him because of the hoodie, but like
Dude,
Ben Reilly,
it was so good
when he's just sitting there like brooding.
Yeah.
Dude, that looked awesome.
Yeah.
I wish he was Chasm though.
Was that did they use a Delato style for that?
Yeah, well,
I
like
was trying to place it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they from Earth 94 because and then that's how he was when he took over the title.
Yeah.
It was like he's all broody and
in
everybody.
the 90s.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah,
that was a painful memory. Oh.
You know, like
Yeah.
Evan Steinberg was the voice, so he was good at it. I like the Jessica Drew. Like, I don't like that look like that, but it's fine. Like the character was actually better than the look. But her art style was very consistent, and the facial expressions, the way they animated her, like she was very. It's almost like she is like the second because she's just as like pensive and observant as like, if not more so than Miguel.
Oh yeah.
Whereas he should be the head of that. No, she could keep the cooler head. Because that's part of Miguel's thing was like he's like it's a chip on his shoulder that is a spider thing, you know, and his is like, you know, across the multiverse because of what he experienced. So yeah, I can see like maybe he's a little too shell shocked to be at that position, you know, which is part of what makes the movie great too.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Oz?
I like Jessica Drew, the character, and the way she is, the way she acts. I don't think she needed to be pregnant. Like that doesn't really add anything to her character or the story.
Yeah.
If anything, it detracts because it just, to me, it just makes her seem a lot more irresponsible to be voluntarily putting herself out there, like that. Like it's one thing if
tossed up against a moving train.
It's one thing if like somebody, like she sees somebody get attacked and she's got to do something. I understand that, but it seems like she's volunteering to be on the front lines on this one. It didn't seem that I kind of understand why they did it, sort of, maybe, but it wasn't necessary. Her character, like it, if you take away the pregnancy, it doesn't affect what her character does or how her character is. She's still cool. Everything Mo just said about her, it's still true. It's just it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, and I do kind of wonder if that's gonna come into play somehow more so.
We're gonna get Spider Boy.
Huh?
We're gonna get Spider Boy.
That's not where Spider Boy comes from, right?
It will be now.
That's what we decided when we read Spider-Man 7.
No. So, look, wait. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it plays into the next movie. I don't know. Like, I mean, the only thing for me is, having read, like, Spider-Woman, the Spider-Woman comic book. Like, there was a point where she was actually superheroing while she was pregnant.
I assume that's what they were trying to reference.
Yeah. And so I don't, I mean, and she was doing it, for her own reasons. Like there wasn't like, I mean, she was showing, but she wasn't like
third trimester.
Jessica Drew. Right. Jessica Drew is, a complicated character. She was going through a lot of different things during that time in her life. So, it's like she had her reasons. Obviously, like that doesn't come into play in this movie for this version of Jessica Drew. So, or at least it hasn't so far. So I don't know. Like but I feel what you're saying, Oz, because you're right. Like it literally is like just an aesthetic in this movie, which is different, but hey, yeah. Yeah, man, I will tell you that I was blown away by just like all the different choices they made with these different Spider people and the different art styles and whatnot, and just loving it. Like, I mean, even just like especially considering like how it like, I think the main thing was like how it references like the characters in the comics, like Miles Morales, his whole world is very comic booky, like hardcore. I mean, it's like the ultimate comic book, like the original Ultimate comic books, kind of. And then when you go to Spider-Gwen's world, it's like all watercolory, and it's like her book was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the initial kind of Spider-Gwen stuff had like that watercolor kind of coloring feel to it too. And then even like going to like friggin' Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, which that's a little bit where you get a more of a departure from the comic book, but he was gritty, and they decided to kind of do like what to me at least looked like a John Romita Jr. kind of art style for him, but like in 3D, which I was like, oh wow, and I mean, we all know like John Romita Jr.'s art, it has like a grittiness to it when he decides to like put the time in, where it's just like and so I'm looking at like his art style, and I think that goes back to what you're saying, Mo, where you're like he like kind of looks better even with the mask off, and that's because like you get like this fool's like lips have like those lines in them. You know what I'm saying? When he turns around, yeah, it's like just it's so expressive. And I was just like, man, like I mean, this movie is blowing me away. Like I'm like people are sitting just having conversations, and I'm like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to comics. Comic book movies right here.
Everybody that's acting is like the animation and the facial animation, everything is so good that you're like, this is the best performance they've ever done in anything I've seen. And it's not, I don't know if they did motion capture for them or nothing, but the facial animations were amazing.
100%. And it's crazy because you know, like I remember, you know, Jay saw the movie before I did, and I remember asking him, I was just like, Jay, is it as good as the last one? And he's like, man, like he told me, like it might be better. And I'm just like, really? Because I know for me, I was just like, I would have been perfectly happy with a movie that was as good as the last one. Like that was all I could hope for, really, because the last one was so good, or so I thought. But this joint, I'm like, man, like I don't even know if I want to watch that last movie anymore. I might go back and be like, man, this joint, I might be like, this old trash ass Into the Spider-Verse. You know, I was like, let me go watch the new one again. I know, but
Spider-Verse beta.
I know, like even like, you know, and another like a portion again, like, you know, like where I was just like, man, like the performances were so good, and I think like another like two standouts that I think really need mentioning are friggin' Miles's parents, man.
Yeah,
like both of those folks that were, you know, his mom and his dad were so good, like, you know, and it just felt like very, very real, you know, like parents really trying to cope with
except
their
that
teenage
his
son.
wife's name.
Say what?
Except that Jeff took his wife's last name.
He took his
that too.
He took his wife's last name.
Because he called him Mr. Morales.
Yeah, and he's like Lieutenant Morales.
Uh-huh.
And he's not. He's Jefferson Davis or Jeffrey Davis. And that's why Miles is technically Miles Davis, but they call him Miles Morales because he doesn't like the Jazz.
He doesn't like the Jazz.
So, like, we had this conversation on there, Larry. Like, you know,
yeah.
So, and it's like, so they're both Latino. Like, he's not mixed, you know? Which I'm okay with, but you know, it was weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me out.
it took you out again, even though it was like that in the first movie.
Well, no, yeah. We had this conversation because of the movie and the game, where it's like I always said, like, why, if his mom's the Puerto Rican one and his dad's the black dude, like, why is his last name Morales? And you never gave me an answer.
Yeah,
and then the game did, where it's like, that's Miles Davis, not Miles Morales. And then you explained to me that that's how it is in the comics, but he doesn't like jazz, and so Miles took his mom's last name because he doesn't want to be called Miles Davis. And then and I'm like, all right, but then the dude, like, is just Morales, like, in the movie too. Like, he hates Miles Davis too.
Probably.
Just how the conclusion of that bunker, I want that explained.
There, okay. Look, I'm not mad. Like the movie has to have some downsides too, right?
Yeah.
There it is. This last name debacle and the friggin' bunker mystery that never gets solved. It's like Lost all over again. I agree.
Taking
okay. Uh-oh. We lost it.
It's called being woke, Moses. LOL. Yeah, I don't know. That's not what it is. Being woke is make sure nobody catch you slipping. Yeah. That's what I understood that.
So what else do you all any other, like, what other thoughts do you all have about the story or the movie?
I like the different cameos. I enjoyed Spider-Man Unlimited and Spectacular Spider-Man, even though I didn't like that cartoon all that much. But
right.
You know, I think we might not have the Spider-Gwen now if we didn't have that Gwen Stacy there. Because I think that was the first one where they show her kind of like being almost a peer to Peter than just the love interest, the one-dimensional love interest. So that it has its merit there. And then then they show Toby and Andrew.
Right.
That was cool. And I love that they connected the spider webs across all realities with like the canon moments,
Mhm.
those are important, and they call them canon moments, and that was a good little theme in the movie that really like cemented everything, and it's like you didn't have to do all that. I was with it, and then boom, it's like dang, and then the ending. Like this was like the Empire Strikes Back of superhero movies. It was like Infinity War kind of, like it's like I love it. I love that.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, it didn't have a end credit scene. But no,
Yeah. Yeah. It did not. It did not. I mean, look, what else can you put, really, right? It's like, you kind of just leave it for the people to kind of like sit with.
yeah.
Like, look, resonate with that, you go.
Oh, we got the Web Warriors
In the friggin'
at the end.
in
Well, that
said
team, that like the Renegade team that's going through across the multiverse to help each other.
got you.
It's the new Web Warriors, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that like John Mulaney, like we got the original team from the first movie.
Mhm.
I think Nicolas Cage voiced a couple of those like cowboy Spider-Man.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It sounded like him to me as well.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but I love that, and yeah, it's such a good movie.
Oz, do you want to talk about any of the cameos?
Yeah, I want to talk about the fake ass Prowler.
Wait, why is that fake ass Prowler?
I don't know why everybody is so obsessed with this guy, with Childish Gambino, whatever his name is, being Prowler.
Danny
'Cause,
Glover.
like, he just seemed
Donald Glover.
whatever, whether it's the dad or the son. I mean, he just seems like, you don't think he seems like way too, like he's been smoking way too much weed to be Prowler? Like in this movie, he's like really like low key. Like the Prowler in the first one is a cool character. I don't know how Prowler is in the comics. I don't think I read the Miles Morales comics, but like the way he is in this, like it's kind of like, yeah,
You motherfucker. Oh man.
Like in the live action Spider movie that he shows up, he's still like, like, oh yeah, guns, and my nephew's in this neighborhood. Yeah, like dude's high all the time. I can't picture him like actually going out and doing shit. Like he looks like he needs a nap.
Is it like his demeanor comes across as high to you?
Yeah, like he just smoked one and he needs to just lay down and take a nap.
He can't just be calm?
No, because it's not calm. It's like he talks kind of slow, and he's like, nah, man. It's way past calm. Like, no, I mean, I see dudes I've seen act like that just smoked one and are ready to just lay down.
But realistically, like he's just a Prowler. Like he's not like they haven't made him the villain in the or essentially Spider-Man's body double in any movie yet. So it doesn't really matter. Like it's essentially like Jim from The Office being Mr. Fantastic. Like he's just gonna do it in there and that's it. Like you're not gonna get a Fantastic Four movie with him, And that's kind of what this scene is, so it doesn't really matter. They could have had a white Prowler, and they didn't,
Heaven forbid.
Yeah,
a white Prowler. Man, they always taking things from black people, man.
It seems like he should have been a little bit more angry that he was like imprisoned.
Look, here's the thing: if you're ever incarcerated, being angry is a waste of energy because being locked up like that requires a lot more stamina than you think. You know.
Plus, also too, I think it's just a quick cameo. It's like it's almost like Howard the Duck.
It's not just a cameo though, because it reminded me of his scene in the Spider-Man movie, and there's a deleted version that goes on longer, where like he still he has no energy. Like I thought, I don't know, maybe the suit powers him up and he wakes him the fuck up.
No, I mean,
I go out and get something done, but I don't even believe the dude could rob a liquor store, even though he's like buying weapons in that movie. Like, you see the extended scene where he's talking to Spider-Man after he's been like webbed onto the not the hood,
the
trunk of his car. Like they talk for like a minute and a half, and I'm like, yeah, cut that shit out because dude's boring me. Childish Gambino should not bore me that much. Like, he should be way more entertaining than that. Somebody effed up in the writing room, or he smoked too much weed, and now they have to go with that. Like that's just his character now. Established canon.
I don't know, man. I guess it's like, having seen Donald Glover in a number of different things, it just feels to me like, hey, sometimes he's that guy. Like in Atlanta, he has that kind of demeanor a little bit, like in that TV show. Obviously, like say Community, he's a completely different character, so he's more.
I mean,
energetic.
It sounds like you're saying dude has no range. Like he's either high or he's not.
I literally just said the opposite of that. Like
you just said, you just giving parameters to a range.
I don't listen to what Lauren says.
It's like, I think you decided what you wanted to hear and just know no matter what I said. You got one
sentence to catch my attention after that. Like I'm smelling a candle.
It's like the guy was being consistent with the character, it sounds like, from his version of the character in the movie. So that's
he
what
didn't have to be. The character in that movie sucked.
And it's on for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long time in movie time.
No,
especially in those Spider-Man movies. Those Spider-Man movies were not like 3.5 hours or whatever the hell this thing was. This was long. This movie was way too long. Like, you could easily cut out a half hour. I don't need, like, you don't need to redo the family stuff. Like, I get it. Miles and his family are drifting apart, and there's conflict there. I don't need to see that every 10 minutes.
So you felt like it was too long?
Dude, it's 2.5 hours, and it's not even done.
But did it feel like it was 2.5 hours?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, okay. Obviously, not at first. At first, it's entertaining. At some point, it gets a little bit repetitive. And look, the way it ends makes me want to see the next one. But realize, like, at some point, you gotta pee, man.
No, I agree with you on that. Like, I definitely
that's gonna make you feel every extra minute. I can get that out.
Yeah.
Like, when you're looking at your empty soda thing, like, do I really need to keep this popcorn bucket?
Hilarity. Jay, how did you feel about the length of the movie? Did you think it was too long, or are there scenes that you can think of that you would have shortened or cut out?
No.
Jay's like, perfect.
I mean, I could have used more, honestly.
Jay is like, what the hell?
Exactly what the director said. Like, you know what? 2.5 hours is not enough. We're gonna need a part 2.
Yeah.
Give me the second movie right now, like right after.
When is the next movie supposed to come out? I didn't even look at that.
Years, like, they're probably already working on it, but
next year, I think.
It seems like they knew they were gonna make another movie before this was done, by the way they did it.
Yeah, no question. And I know I definitely was of the mindset, like, man, like, I don't understand why they didn't like Back to the Future 2 and 3 this joint, so we get like one in the summer and one at the end of the year or something like that, like, because I'm like, I want to see the rest of this movie like right now. Right now.
I think it is coming out next year.
On that train of thought, what I'm seeing on the internet from NPR, so it's probably not true. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is slated for March of 2024.
Yeah.
So a little bit under a year. That's actually not too. It's animated. You can't put it out as quick as a Back to the Future. Plus, there's a writer's strike.
Yeah, but
that's true. But yeah, the writers are done.
Even if they already wrote it, like there's stuff that stopped filming as soon as the writer's strike started.
Also, animation didn't get caught up in that.
No, animated writers aren't a part of that.
It's still Sony. It might like a solidarity thing.
There might be some doing solidarity, but officially, no, they're not caught up in that.
Oh, that's crazy. Like, why would they not? Like, why would animated writers not be part of the Writers Guild?
Because they don't get paid shit whether it streams or not.
They've been getting fucked from day one.
I know, man. That sucks.
They love getting fucked.
They're like, we write real stuff, not your cartoons. It's like, wait, what? Like,
as a wise man at my job once said, at some point it stops hurting. That stick just smooths out, and you take it.
Man. So yeah, but no, I mean,
happy Pride Month.
Jesus. Oh God. I will say that, I wish that this movie was coming out like the end of this year. The next, but if it actually does come out in March of next year,
that's what I'm seeing on the internet.
We're already halfway through June, so
yeah, that's why it's less than a year, man.
Yeah, man. And then did you all see the twist coming?
I did. Like earlier we were talking about this, and you talked about how like the twist it blew you away. You were like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. Like your arms waved like this and everything.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've had a lot of alcohol. No, I kind of like once I realized that where he was, I saw it coming. Like at first I thought just because it's been 2 hours at this point, and I thought, okay, we're gonna start resolving shit, and then you start finding out that twist actually that got me. That one I'll admit got me.
But okay, that's the one I was talking about.
The where he is, that one got me.
Yeah,
now, the twist. It's Oh
no, that's not what I was talking about. Like the reveal at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. I was talking about.
I know we're spoiling, but I'm still like in that.
Yeah.
Moment.
Right. No, I agree.
Hasn't seen it, so I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay. No, if you're talking about the location, but not really.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Okay, that got me. I did think, because again, it's 2 hours into the movie. You think stuff's gonna start resolving at this point, and he's gonna deal with his family issues, and then all that. But once the final twist, which is what I see most people talking about on the internet anyway. No,
that I agree with you there. Like, but. Okay, it's interesting.
You've regained some of my respect for you.
It's interesting because, it puts it all out there for you, though, and that's the wild part. Because after the fact, I'm like, oh my god, and it's wild because, I saw a thing where people were talking about how the joint is actually foreshadowed in the first movie, and I'm just like, dude, that's crazy. And I'm just
foreshadowed in that about the spider, spectral spider.
Yeah, and
see, I don't think I saw. Now I only saw the first movie once, but the spider I thought it was there was 41 other spiders.
I mean, I think that there are, but
and maybe you were about to say this. but then realizing that when a character is not in his own universe,
Right.
he glitches.
Right.
Then I think back.
Yeah.
Why the hell was that spider glitching?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was gonna say.
Exactly. And it's just like, dude, like, and it's one of those things where it's like, is that just something they decided to like did they I'm like, was that planned like that? And it's like, it's like, who knows? Like, but it's like,
man,
it's crazy.
So like I said, Sony knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Listen, the friggin' Spider-Verse team definitely is on point, man. They make it happen because I'm like,
can we get
man,
the Spider-Verse team on like the other Sony movies?
Hey, listen, like it's crazy because I'm sitting here like I remember us. Oh, go ahead, Mo.
The movies that Sony does aren't the like based on stuff that's like has these seminal amazing things in the comics. Like you talk about like the closest thing for Venom is like the Carnage or Lethal Protector, but they're not referencing those. Like they didn't even want to connect with the Spider-Man at first,
Right.
And Morbius is the same thing. It's like they're fucking up by disconnecting it. Once they connect it, you can weave those. You could do it bad and then do a good one right after. Like because it's like it's still connected. The disconnect is what's fucking them up. Like having a what is it, Black and Silver or whatever, or like a Sinister Six movie without Spider-Man. It's like yeah, like that's not gonna work.
Yeah. And I mean, I would venture to say that there's a way to you can have a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it. However, you reference Spider-Man off screen and move forward from there. Like you could totally have done like an animated like opening sequence like that explains that history and act as though okay, we're moving forward from that.
With Venom, like in Lethal Protector, it's like he literally he left because it's like, well, fuck, I gotta move on from this hate, and I gotta take it out on the people that really deserve it. Because even though I hate him, I have to protect like that imprintment of him being a protector is so strong that he's like, I can't do it in the same town as this guy. That's all literally. If the Venom movie started with that.
Yeah,
but he didn't want to protect. Like he didn't even get the symbiote till he got there. So it's like he had no run-in with Spider-Man whatsoever.
Right. But yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Geez, Jay, you got any last things you want to talk about or mention before we start wrapping up Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse?
I did not see the mainframe Spider-Man, but I'm sure he might be in there. I gotta go rewatch it.
There's the animated animated Spider-Man. That was the MTV one.
They put the theme and everything when he came out.
When who came out?
The animated, the cartoon.
Yeah, but no, not. We were talking about the MTV one.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude. I think they had the friggin' like. I mean, they just had every Spider-Man in there, so I can't imagine they would left him out. It's like
Sony.
They didn't have every Spider-Man. I didn't see no Superior.
I was representing Superior with my hat.
I feel like Superior was probably in there. Look, they had that one guy with the friggin'
if you put Superior in that group, he's gonna take it over.
He's gonna be gunning for Spider-Man 2099's role.
Yeah.
There it is. Look, maybe
I think
that's what
there's a
happens.
Superior 2099 too, right? Like at some point, everybody was Superior.
No, he ended up in 2099. Like he
did.
portaled into it.
And I like how they reference No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, because they actually called it the Universe 199999 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he knew who Doctor Strange was and everything.
Which
And
I thought was especially great because we know that's the MCU universe number, but they're trying to make it 616 now. After that
Multiverse of
movie. Yeah, they try to rename it to the 616 universe, which is not.
Well, but they didn't try to rename it. I mean, it's the people.
They literally called it 616 when it's 199999.
No, but
it's 616 to them.
Right. It's like different, like it's perspective, you know, like
just
obviously like we think of it. We would go ahead.
Universe 838 is literally just plus 212. Like, you know, or like what is it? 3323, I guess. 616 plus 323 is 838, right?
Yeah, that's my area code. Don't wear it out.
What was Tiger Claw saying?
He was asking what we thought of the MCU Prowler.
Oz loves it. It's his favorite Prowler.
You know what?
He would calm down.
I would be fine with him if Sony hadn't shown me a much better Prowler.
Look, too much better Prowlers with better music. Because it's like
no, you're right. I think too much better Prowlers than
I love the Prowler. I love what they did with the Prowler in the first movie, and I love like even in the comic, like in the Ultimate comic, it wasn't that great. And then I love what 616 did with Prowler, because he's like a reformed villain. So I love that. And then this guy, like Mahershala Ali playing him is fucking tight. And then on top of that, like the way that story planned out, and then the musical theme that Daniel Pemberton did. I know that motherfucker's name because this fool did an amazing job by adding that great sound for the Prowler. Yeah, like yeah,
that's Mahershala Ali.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why is he messing around with this goofy ass Blade nonsense? He should just be Prowler.
Look, yeah, he should have been the Prowler in that first. Look, no, he couldn't have been in that first Spider-Man. That was Homecoming? Because
Far From Home. It wasn't Homecoming. Well, it might have been. Homecoming. I don't know. It doesn't
because
matter.
He'd actually have to fix up that Peter Parker, like instead of Tony Stark.
Yeah, look, he should just drop Blade. They're not gonna make that at this point anyway.
I want Wesley Snipes as Blade.
He still is. I haven't seen a new Blade.
He was Blade.
A new Blade.
The Shadows too. It's like we need the Daywalker, and then Wesley Snipes comes in.
I haven't seen that show, but I googled that scene just because Wesley Snipes is awesome.
Oh, dude!
Even
all
though
the are so good.
Even though, like, I know he did that because he needs money. Because the way he acted when
it doesn't matter.
When they made Blade 3, like, dude was just being a dick.
It doesn't matter why he's there.
You know the story, right? About Wesley Snipes on that third Blade movie.
No, what about it? What do you do?
He was a dick. Like, there's one scene where, he's like laying down and they do something and he wakes up. Dude just laid there, refused to open his eyes, had to like CGI.
Oh yeah,
he was miserable that whole time. But I'm sure prison has changed him and made him accept his role, and that's why he showed up in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. So cool.
So what? We got to rate this or what?
I think it's that time.
I also did want to say the music I liked a lot better in this one.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely played like more of a background role, but it was still amazing music.
I honestly didn't even notice it.
So
Which goes to what Lawrence was saying about it played in the background. Like it fits so well that it's not like it didn't, I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, it definitely like it almost did like the opposite of what Guardians did. Where like, like the Guardians, like the music was like a big part of the first
not
movie.
Piece of shit.
I mean, kinda. But like here's the thing, is like people liked it. And that's the thing where it's like I didn't like it personally, but people apparently did, and so they like played it up in Guardians 2 and 3. And I feel like, the music played like was more intertwined with the scenes in the first Spider-Verse joint. And in this one, I think that they kind of realized like, okay, maybe the kind of music that they were using beforehand, like that palette of music, maybe doesn't fit tonally as much. And so they kind of had some of the same type of music, but it just played the background more so, which was a good choice, I think. I was just like, man, like, but I definitely noticed. I was like, but it's interesting because it's one of those things where, because it was so like forward in the first movie, it's like I kind of felt like, like the songs would come on and I'm like, oh wow, like who is this? What is this music? And in this movie, the stuff was happening and the music's like happening in the background. And I'm still like, oh man, that sounds cool. I want, what is that? But I'm gonna have to like try to friggin' see the soundtrack later or something, because this is like, like I gotta focus on what's happening right now, like, so it's interesting. Like I think it was a good choice, but it is a definite difference between the two movies.
Tiger Claw in chat wants to know if you think Beyond the Spider-Verse would show a live action Miles Morales. I'm gonna say no. If you get a live action Miles Morales, it's gonna be in a live action movie.
Yeah, I think there are very few Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse. As we've seen, like they're all Peter Parker, and that's part of the theme of this movie, where he's like he is the aberration. So him being a Prowler and a Spider-Man is probably all we're gonna get from Miles,
Yeah, I mean, obviously you get like some variations because you have like
right,
Spider-Gwen, but
right. But that's all in the forefront. But when you look out into the expanse of the Spider Citadel, they're all Peters for the most part.
Yeah, most of them are Peters.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, shoot, let's rate Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Jay, what would you rate it?
I would give it a 6 out of 5.
That's fair. Oz, what would you rate?
My scale only goes up to 5, so I'll just stick with 5.
That's fair. Moses Magnum.
Jay read my mind, because that's what I was going to do. 6 out of 5. It's not even like normally I'd be like, hey, I gotta wait for the second movie because it's just half of it. But no, it's 6 like this. The other one could be a total shit. It could be made by James Gunn, and this still be 6 out of 5.
Right. No, absolutely. I'm definitely on that same kind of page where it's like, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 5, but I want to give it 10. The joint's so good.
You could give the opening Spider-Gwen movie 5 out of 5, and
there it is. 5 at
Miles Morales movie, another 5 out of 5.
5 before the credits and 5 before the title sequence, and then 5 after the title sequence. The movie's a 10. 10 out of 5. Yeah. So no, it's phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you're making bad decisions. Go see it in theaters, then go see it again, because dude, you're missing out. Oh, dude, man,
Are we gonna go see Transformers?
Oh, jeez.
The hell? Is that even a question?
I was going to discuss that in our pre-production meeting, but yeah, me and Lawrence are going Friday to see it in IMAX.
Damn right you are, Lawrence.
Wait, what?
That's right.
I don't remember
IMAX, too.
having that conversation. What?
You have no excuse
You
for
weren't there
eyeballs.
when we got to the show late.
Who's paying for IMAX tickets?
I am.
What?
And no excuses, Lawrence. No
Yeah.
excuses.
Man.
We're going after work. They're going to pick me up. We're going to head to Long Beach and see it in IMAX.
Well, there it is.
You get to
Jesus.
see all the Michael Bay-ness in all its glory.
Oh. Does that joint come out this Friday?
Yes.
Oh, I think.
Technically, early screenings start tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're actually watching it late at that point.
I watched the trailer or like a teaser, and I saw Air Razor in it and Scorponok, and I'm like, oh shit! I know it's not gonna be good, but I still want to see it. Yeah, like they could fuck it up good. Like it'd be a good fucked up where but I don't think so.
I won't be happy till I see Blur.
Blur. What makes you feel like Blur is going to be in it?
I'm just thinking of the Flash.
Hey, that's another thing about the Spider-Man movie, because this is like this Flashpoint thing is gonna have to pull off because it's similar concepts, and it doesn't look like they didn't look like they're gonna pull it off well to begin with, and now after the Across the Spider-Verse, I think Flash got some big shoes to fill because
they do, but early screenings, a lot of positive reviews from people that hate Ezra Miller.
But people are stupid. Like you're true. A small group. Like you're gonna like none of us were in those early screenings, right? So how are you gonna trust what they say? Like,
what I trust is when somebody who hates Ezra Miller is watching a movie that has two Ezra Millers and walks out saying that it was a good movie. Like, you have a lot of obstacles to overcome to be able to say those words.
What did that person say was good about it?
When they get to Batman. It's a good Batman movie.
Yeah,
Once Michael Keaton shows up, like
not about the convergence of the universes and all this shit and the Flashpoint. That's not the good part.
No, it's Michael Keaton.
All right, look, I rest on your face.
Whoa. Listen, I will say this. Like, I do feel like that Flash movie is probably going to be a good movie. It's not. I can't imagine it's going to be as good as this Across the Spider-Verse joint, though.
Oh
like,
no, we're not going to compare it to Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. We're going to compare it to like previous WB movies.
Right.
The reason I pick it up is because of the concept. Like, if the way they pull off this, because they still use the same little branching from Marvel, from the MCU, the little like light branching, and then intertwine the web on top of that. So it's like a different aspect of the variants, still connected to what Marvel's been doing. And that's like, this is essentially like almost like Flashpoint, like Miles Morales' Flashpoint, thematically at least. And I don't think this movie is going to pull it off that well.
I would have compared it to Multiverse of Madness. Can I compare it to Multiverse of Madness?
I mean, I don't know if I would do that. Like Multiverse of Madness. I know people talk about it like it wasn't good, but I don't know, man. Like Multiverse of Madness, like I would say watch it again.
I still have Flashback.
I'd rather not.
Tiger Claw says, "What about Supergirl? Many want to see it just for her, or some may want to see it just for her.
That's Superwoman. Like she's from a universe where Clark never landed on Earth. Like she is the Clark of that universe."
Yeah.
I fucking hate her costume.
It's the wrong costume.
It reminds me of the knockoff costumes from like DC Universe Online. where it's like you know what it's supposed to be, but
Right.
Right.
Like
it's
you're
not.
influenced by that hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do
I
this
also, don't
comic.
like that, I also don't like that it's a onesie. Like the boots aren't a separate thing; they're part of the costume.
Yeah.
That bugs me for some reason.
But that was a canvas
That's like DC Universe Online.
too.
I haven't played that game in so long.
All right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna play this music.
Let's do it.
Comic book review. Comic book
Like-
review.
Well, not like that, but like
Love it. I love it. All right. Amazing Spider-Man number 26. It came out, what was that? Like
It
a
sure
week
did.
ago?
Are we doing spoilers? 'Cause
Yeah,
the solicitations are out already.
Now,
Wait, because what? Solicitations?
Yeah, they revealed the covers for the upcoming issues that they were hiding.
Oh, yeah. No, you
Oh,
can. We can definitely
I haven't-
do spoilers.
I haven't seen those, but what I was gonna mention is the events of the last page, I guess we would call them, have already been in news stories like for weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all
It's
like
not a secret.
no, it's not a secret. I agree. Like we all know that or at least most people would have known probably, and spoilers if you did not know, in case you're like, oh, I need this big reveal, but you know. This issue is the issue where Kamala Khan gets killed. And so Miss Marvel dies in this random issue of Spider-Man.
I didn't know that.
Say what?
Yeah, I didn't read any of the news stories about it, so that was a shock to me.
Oh, you didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, good. No, I'm happy that when you read it, you didn't know, because that perspective is an important perspective to get. And when we told you to read the book, you didn't know that was what was going to happen.
Right.
Okay. So what
I
was
don't
your
know. When the book opens with her interviewing for the job, like you feel something's gonna happen.
Well,
not that she's gonna get killed?
If you read like Dark Web or other Amazing Spider-Man issues, like it's not. That's pretty.
I don't read Spider-Man. I just follow the hype.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's like that's not that strange. Like
yeah.
in these latest runs of books,
Yeah. But Jay, what was your general feeling on reading the issue? Like, because I think you're the only one of us that actually went into it blindly. So it's like, what was your general feeling of coming through the issue and then getting to the end?
It was like, it was interesting, like, because it's like an ending arc. It's almost not quite an epilogue, and I haven't read anything before, so I don't know any of these people. I'm kind of just thrown into a situation.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it a little harder to get emotionally invested. But I got to the end, and I was a little underwhelmed. Partially because I didn't fully believe it was real. Like, why would you kill Miss Marvel when her movie's about to come out
in a Spider-Man book?
That's what half the news stories about the issue were.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, people. I mean, it's interesting because there are all types of takes, but ultimately, I think everybody's just like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? One, and if you were going to do it, why would you do it in this book?
Should have been in Champions.
Well, I don't think there's not a Champions book right now. I don't think
she had her own book.
It should be a Champions book.
She had her own title.
Yeah, but that's not going on right now either.
Yeah, but Champions is awesome in theory.
In theory. In practice.
Mo, you're our resident Spider-Man fan. How did you feel about this joint? And I know you read some of this beforehand, but you haven't been reading this book regularly, right?
Not that regularly, though. I'm actually like I started reading it at like I'm on like issue 11, so I'm not catching up, which is what I didn't do in our little hiatus. So I should have, but it's just one of those things. Like, okay, I'm jumping a little forward, but it's like it's probably the best I've read of Gold Goblin. Like he was. Yeah,
look, he leaped over that high bar, huh?
Yeah, but he was like
Gold Goblin story yet.
He's
Seminal
like
Gold Goblin.
He's like helping out, and he's like heroic, and then he's like, and he's an ally to Spider-Man, but it's 2 pages, and then he's like, "Who is she?" When she dies, like, like, oh yeah, she was observing me at work, like
that's what the people reading it.
Yeah, and that's like I don't really like. I'm having a hard time. I don't know. I'm having almost like an existential crisis with comics in the sense that like a lot of these comics that I've loved, like the big 2 or mainstream comics, are like not doing it for me, and it's like maybe I did finally outgrow this shit, But I the only thing that keeps me from that is like, no, because I used to read like Vertigo shit as a kid, like heavy metal and stuff like that. And so it's like I've always had like a difference between the mainstream books and the non-mainstream, and I always found a place to enjoy all of it. And it's more about the medium than what books. So I don't know, man. I'm freaking out about it, but yeah, like this actual issue was probably the best one of these mainstream books I've read in a while.
Like this is the best one. This one was better than like 1 through 11.
Well, no, well that it was, yeah, it felt a little better, shit. But Larry's dead.
Yeah, look, I don't know what am I like.
Talk about like Dark Web, which the video's still coming.
Don't let Unfriended get you.
And then what is it? The Murder World books, and what's the other one? The Unforgiven. Like, and then I try to read like, I still haven't got to the X-Men stuff. I did get like X-Men Red. I think the first 2 trade paperbacks, but I haven't gotten to read those yet. But yeah, it's definitely like one of those things. Like, this is probably one of the better ones, but it's not by much. Like, it's just I don't know. Like, they're not putting as much work into creating like these epic stories. I don't know. Maybe I'm spoiled by fucking Dan Slott, where you had like Ends of the Earth, and then fucking Superior Spider-Man, and then then Spider-Verse, and Spider Island before that. Like, it's just these amazing epic heroic stories.
Who's doing this run?
Huh?
Who's doing this run? Who's the writer on this?
Zeb Wells. And Zeb Wells is actually a good Spider-Man writer. He used to write Avenging Spider-Man, and he
That's the Robot Chicken guy, right?
Yeah, he's from Robot Chicken. And he's actually a really good Spider-Man writer, like, but I just don't know what the. I think Nick Spencer really just like left a stink on it. Like, it's hard to bounce back from that,
Dude, it's crazy because I agree with everything you're saying, Mo. Where Zeb Wells, yeah, like I've enjoyed his writing in the past, but man, like I am not enjoying anything he's been writing for this Spider-Man run, really, and and I'm not feeling the artwork either, which doesn't help. Like, which John Romita Jr. just like I don't
know how Junior still gets jobs.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far because it's like he has a style that's unique, and there are people that like it. It's like for the nostalgia kind of thing. And
plus,
so,
he probably doesn't miss deadlines either.
Right. I'm sure he's.
I look, yeah, based on what he draws, yeah, I can see that. Like,
but
if you're not gonna draw lips, then I can see how you would save time.
But yeah, like it's definitely not either one of their best works. And
Dude's living off his dad's legacy, right? At this point,
no. I mean, he has his own legacy secured.
When his own
Like,
style.
yeah, like it's like he might be riding on the like coasting off of his own legacy. Like I would, if you say that, I would give it to you, but not like he's beyond, like he solidified his own spot at this point, I feel. But it's gotten to the point where Marvel told Zeb Wells, like, you should not do any cons because people like are hating you for what you're doing and it might be bad for you. They're like, don't go to these cons. And I'm like, which is not cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, like, we can all, like, we've all disliked comics and disliked comic creators for what they've done to some of our favorite characters or whatever. But people should be able to, like, go to a comic book convention and not have to be concerned for their own safety. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we just see their booth and keep walking.
or you have words, which is okay. You can tell somebody that you think that their work is trash. I wouldn't suggest that you do that. But, it's one of those things where, hey, if you feel that strongly and you want to express it, like, that can happen. And, what happens after that, like, actions have consequences, right? But, like, Zeb Wells shouldn't mess around and have to worry about whether he can walk around at comic book conventions freely because cats are that upset about, like, which I'm pretty sure they were upset before this issue. Like, this is not because of what happened in this issue. Like, it's more so about, I think, random MJ kids, but
Paul has been the reason I stopped reading Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah,
like it might not be, but it feels like a insert.
Yeah,
like an editor just put it. So it just it's bugged me. I didn't realize they had kids too.
Yeah,
until I read this issue, and I'm like, wow, man, this is worse than I even thought.
Right.
Like I'm reading the whole thing, like waiting for everybody to get killed. Tolerating fucking Romita Jr. art that is just getting on my nerves the whole time. I hate you guys. I don't know even why I'm on the show today. I knew that like,
hey, you can suggest stuff to read.
And the funny part is that it's like even worse, like coming off of like watching Across the Spider-Verse, where I'm looking.
I did read this after watching the movie, by the way. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's like literally like looking into Miguel O'Hara's face, and it's like, dude, like that's what good John Romita Jr. art looks like. Like I've seen that. You know what I'm saying? And not only am I looking at it, but I'm like,
I haven't seen that in 10 years.
Well, I mean, but okay, like about
I understand it exists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just I haven't seen it in at least 10 years, probably longer. And especially I'm in a lot of sketch groups, and dude, I understand he needs money, I guess. But seeing some of the sketches that he does, I'm like, man, I don't like dude's coasted on his name at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, but people want his art. So it's like you can't like
I know, but like we say on the show all the time, a lot of people are stupid.
Listen,
there's no in that movie that's coming out, the Teenage Kraken. They're like, well, people love mermaids. It's like, and the lady's like, yeah, people are stupid. I'm like, oh, she stole my line.
But yeah, man. I mean, there's no accounting for taste, right? Like, we all have our artists that we enjoy that other people are like, oh, they're garbage. So, but I feel where you all are coming from. But yeah, I will say this. what I'm most worried about is Kamala Khan becoming like getting resurrected through the Krakoan process and potentially becoming a mutant with friggin' crystal light powers in the comics.
Don't you have to be a mutant before you can get resurrected like that?
No,
because she's not like nobody has taken the time to back up her brain, right? Which is part of the process.
That is true. Like, you know, but technically there are ways around that. Like, you know,
wait, is Kamala Khan an adult in these books at this point?
Yeah, she's
I
like
thought she was still like 16.
No, she's out of college or like working on her way of getting out of college.
Okay, all right. Sorry,
that she was interning, so it's like she might still be in college. But in Dark Web, she was actually like working on stuff, so it's like she might have graduated.
Right, but she's an adult. Is my point.
Yeah,
I still, and it might be because of the movie and the show. I still saw her as like 16.
Yeah,
but no, if she's an adult in the comics, then that makes sense. But you really think she's gonna be brought back as a mutant?
I hope not, but it's like I'm worried that might happen just because
I guess because of the movie.
Probably will.
She's a mutant in the MCU.
That's what I'm saying. Like, or at least they, allude to the fact that she might be. But it's like
they played the X-Men theme and everything,
right?
On that show,
right? So I don't know, man. It's like that would be a bad look. Like, I enjoy I enjoyed the Miss Marvel TV show, and I'm happy to, take that for what it is and let it be what it is, separate from the friggin' Marvel Comics universe. But yeah, I don't want that to happen. And we know they're gonna bring her back, like, because like Joe mentioned earlier, like it's the movie's coming out, so she's gonna have her own comic. And I'm sure that all this is literally just like marketing to be like, okay, like if we talk about the resurrection of Miss Marvel when the book is coming or when the movie's coming out, then that might hype up the book and people are going to be looking for it and all that. So
I hear you saying all these things casually.
Yeah.
As I would expect somebody who's been around for a while to say it. But it might surprise you that people don't think like that. Like there's people that don't. This issue is considered a major issue because of her death, as though she will never come back.
Yeah.
Even like you said, there's a movie coming out in a few months. Like the movie's done.
Yeah.
Like why would she not come back? And it's just weird to me because it's like the whole phenomenon of like when a number one comes out and it sells 1 million copies, like it's going to be worth something, when people don't realize the books that are worth something are not because they sold 1 million copies, it's because they sold like 1,000 copies and half of those were destroyed for some reason. Like people don't realize she's coming back.
Number one.
Well, hold on. And let me let asterisk there. Not only do people not realize she's coming back, like people don't buy the comic. People don't read comics to be affected all that much by her death. And it's something that we tend to forget because everything we look at is in this comic universe.
Right.
So we like, to us, this is a big event book. To collectors, this is a big event book, even though not really.
Right.
To the general public, they have no idea this happened.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the thing where the comic book company is hoping that the death will generate buzz beyond us as comic book readers. And so when you hear that Kamala Khan dies, they're hoping that okay, that generates some buzz in the friggin' mainstream media, let's say. Now it didn't. so that first part didn't work, unfortunately for them. Right?
Apparently not. When I saw it, it was a huge story. No one else knows about it outside of us.
It'll probably hit once the book comes out.
Right.
And then when they relaunched that story didn't hit
not
Jay.
relaunch. There's a Death of Kamala Khan comic where they where they basically do the characters, and then I think they might have interviews with the creators.
It's like
when that comes out, that will generate. That's what'll be what they're banking on to generate buzz.
I don't think so, Joe. Like they're
you don't
hoping
think that's what they're thinking, or you don't think that's what'll happen?
No. I mean, I think that that's they're hoping for that. I don't think it'll happen. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen.
I have no idea.
Because you guys read a lot more of these Kamala Khan books. Has she been compared to Mr. Fantastic a lot?
No.
No, like nobody cares that she's got.
Like she literally,
she's not smart enough.
Yeah.
Like she did. She doesn't stretch as much as Mr. Fantastic.
Like they were literally in the same comic book, and nobody tripped about it. You know, like,
she just embiggens herself. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it like the reality is, it's like obviously Mr. Fantastic I guess I'll say in his universe, like in the Marvel universe, his power set is a bit more unique than a lot of other people. But it's like, I mean, it's weird that people are always like, oh, but I don't know, like the powers are the same. It's like, dude, like how many people fly? You know what I'm saying? Like how many people have like some sort of like bio energy blast?
I only bring that up because the reason her powers became light based, from everything I read, was because they didn't want her to be too much like Mr. Fantastic. And changing her in the books, like I could kind of see them changing it because of that, but you're saying they don't even make that connection in the books, and
the only reason they're going to make the change if they do it in the book is because they're trying to synergize with the mass media version. Okay. You know, they're hoping that the people, and again, it's like literally just like if the people that happen to come to pick up a comic because they watch the Marvels and they're like, I like Miss Marvel, I want to read more about her specifically. They're hoping that those people can get a version of the book and it feels similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, and from a marketing perspective, that makes a lot of sense. But, from the standpoint of a comic book reader, it's just like, dude, like, why if you didn't want Miss Marvel powers, then why are you using Miss Marvel? Or if you didn't want Miss Marvel like that, like the character is similar enough for all intents and purposes, but it's just weird that you would go with a that big of a departure from a power perspective.
So when they bring her back on Krakoa, do you think they're going to de-age her?
That's a good question. They can. I don't know.
They might find some like we got a brain scan like 5 years ago or something.
Now, see, honestly, like it's no thing. Like literally, that's baked into the whole idea of the resurrection process. They're like, we don't bring you back like old. We'll bring you back like in your prime, and you can decide that that's what you want. Like like Magneto. Which I guess Magneto didn't get resurrected, but if he had, I get,
her coming back with her as a teenager, like just going with the MCU thing, like you want that mindset too if you want it to match what we're seeing in the
right. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
So you can't bring back old ass Kamala Khan that like was holding on a job.
I mean, Kamala Khan is like maybe 18. Like maybe.
But she doesn't have that. Like the MCU Kamala Khan is just like amazed every time something happens.
Right.
And she still has that like I've never seen this, and you're not gonna get that from old ass spinstress or whatever she.
But realistically, like, you know, at this point, I feel almost like an expert because I've read so much of her in Dark Web and this that it's like you don't need that anymore. Like you have those runs where she was like that already, and that would be more to what the show was. So
well, except for the fact that she doesn't do any of those powers.
Right, but either way, at the end, she's still in biggins and stretches. It's just surrounded by light.
Yeah, but she can like make light platforms in the show.
Yeah, but you don't need her to. Well, either way, I think people are stupid enough that they'll buy it and be fine with it if they like that character. You know,
I would even say like, they don't have to change her in the comics because the people watching the MCU aren't buying the comics.
True.
Right. Yeah, and that's another point. But they want them to, right. And they got to work towards it because
they want them to, but they're not.
Yeah, but they got to do whatever they can to try to get them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately,
when Peter started using organic webs for a while,
it's true. That did happen.
Oh, I forgot about that, or I blocked it out.
It's too funny, man. Okay, so let's rate this. What were you gonna say, Jay?
No, I was just gonna ask you, is there more to talk or can we grade?
Oh yeah. So Jay, what would you rate Amazing Spider-Man number 26?
I would give it a 5. It happened.
You said a what out of 5?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. It did in fact happen, Jay. That's true.
Yeah, I didn't particularly dislike it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kamala Khan thing was kind of cool. Only kind of there.
That's fair. Oz, what would you rate Amazing Spider-Man number 26?
I think 3 is about right. Romita's art in it is, and then the story itself is fine. Yeah, 3.
Okay.
3's where I'm at.
Okay. Moses, what would you rate Amazing Spider-Man number 26?
It's a good middle of the road book that's a little better than what I've been reading there. So 3 I think is where it is. Like, and it's just like, you know, when you're watching something like Across the Spider-Verse and you see a Ben Reilly, and Ben Reilly's acting like what we hated in the books where he took over, like they're still making lemonade out of that lemon.
Right.
Here it's like in the comics we should have gotten past this. Like the just because you get a new team, we shouldn't have this quality of writing. You know, it's disappointing. And as a Spider fan, I'm disappointed. But at least we get Across the Spider-Verse.
There it is.
So that's a good load. You know.
Well, I will tell y'all, man. I'm gonna rate this joint a 2. And I'm gonna let you all know that you all are not reading enough comic books because this joint's like there's better stuff out here than this by far. Like which I know you all know because you all did say 3, but dude, like I'm like you're like I need to make y'all read some more X-Men books.
I'm working on it. I did get the first 2 trade paperbacks of that X-Men Red that you brought up last time here. So
I'm a good book. X-Men Red, baby.
I was starting it, and then I got into Chainsaw Man, the manga. So
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all. So, all right, cool, gents. Let's do some final thoughts before we get out of here. All right. Hey, why don't we go with you for some final thoughts?
If you go on Steam right now, the game Hue is discounted completely for free. You can get it. It's a puzzle platformer where you change the color of the world and it changes the objects that are in it. It's pretty good. I've been playing it. It's fun. And it's free right now, so you might as well pick it up.
That sounds awesome. It's on Steam?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Oscore, final thoughts.
At this point, I kind of know everything that happens in the Flash movie, and it just makes me want to see it more. Like I honestly, I can explain the whole movie to you at this point because I've talked to people and read so many reviews that, yeah, I know beat for beat what happened, and I'm excited now more than the stupid trailers.
Okay. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Yeah, we gotta might have a more deal for you next week, but depends if we review the book or not. But you're only gonna find out if you like, subscribe, hit the bell, and join the other community that are enjoying uncensored videos on our platform here at YouTube.
I saw that. There's like a naked statue video.
Yeah. There's boobies on our channel, and there's a couple more Marvel Snap tutorials that I put up, and yeah, a lot of good stuff happening, and a lot of good stuff coming down the line. We're entering convention season. Got Anime Expo coming up, and then Comic-Con. Woohoo! That stuff. Yeah, so we get some good content on this channel. Just be sure to get the alert.
There it is. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Either way, like and subscribe and all those good things. We're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.